Your overall reaction to the performance tonight and end result.
Why don't we make this a dialogue and open it up to what you guys thought of the game? I'm actually curious. Seriously. I know it's probably not the norm here, but I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about the game. We can have a dialogue this time. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm curious. You guys watch this team as much as I do, so I'm curious about what you guys thought about today. Tell me about what you thought today.
I mean, we see a lead kind of evaporate away. We see these glimpses of how things can look like, and when things are really firing on all cylinders, when you have all the right pieces to your puzzle. But there seems to be just a degrade in quite a few of these matches where you hold a lead and then it goes away.
You can ask a question as well in your statement. I'm okay with that. I get it.
I mean,
it's hard to just answer questions, right? It's good to ask too.
Yeah. I mean, you're the soccer man.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all soccer people, so.
I mean, it's an interesting level, right? I mean, it's kind of hard to take away all the things,
right,
knowing that there are bright spots, but then there are weaknesses.
Well, I think that, look, what you said is fact. You know how many drop points we've had since I've been here? So in how many games? 16 games I've been here in the league. You know how many drop points we have from not a winning position, but a position where we scored the first goal.
Is the winning position 17, isn't it?
Yeah, 17.
Yeah, but there's also winning position like sack. We were up and down. So just let's take the first goal of every game, which is usually, it gives you a very good position of strength, right?
I can't remember if it was.
I mean, I can tell you.
I saw this stat. It was like, was it 9? Like a few weeks ago, was it 9?
15.
That's where that.
15. This game included, obviously. So before this game, it was 12, 15. And so the question isn't whether that happens. It obviously happens, right? It's why. What are the reasons why we start well and we show? Before I get to that, what did you guys think of the first half?
It was so encouraging, and we've seen that time before.
I felt like that was.
You saw the first half stats. They had no shots on goal, no shots on target.
It was our best first half of soccer since I've been here, in my opinion. It was phenomenal. Yep. I mean, that is, I get it. They just played a game. That is arguably the best team in terms of the run that they're on. They won a cup, and they went from the last place since I've been here to they're in third or fourth now. Fourth, maybe? Third? Third.
Yeah.
They're the hottest team in the league, bar none.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Louisville, whatever. But Louisville's not playing two competitions, right? So for an entire half, we dominated them in every aspect. Now, why does the second half lead to what it leads to, right? And look, at the end of the day, I guarantee you, none of us in this room, including me, have the answers, or else I would have already done it, right? And then you guys would be in my spot if you guys had the answer, right? So what we can say is, I think that there are a lot of things that can disrupt our team. And the reason why is, it's very simple. It's because our team is not good enough to play as well as we did for 45 minutes, for 90 minutes every single weekend. Mm-hmm. We're not good enough to be that consistent. We have the ability to do that. We have the quality to do it in spurts, like you talked about, right? And I think that one thing that I'll say that I think our staff, since I've gotten here, has done a phenomenal job at is having them see that vision and being able to perform it, right? I mean, the first half was the moments that we made mistakes, the reaction were phenomenal in terms of winning the ball back from the other team. When we were trying to play through them, whoever was receiving the ball, other guys were popping off into different pockets to give them options. It was virtually impossible for Hartford to get any pressure around us. I mean, it is what my football dream is of a team that I coach. Yeah. It was perfect, right? But at the end of the day, there are things that go against you in a game of soccer. It's a subjective game, right? And I could tell you, there's a missed call in the first half of a penalty. I mean, Peter Wilson gets kicked in the back of the leg, and then he shanks the ball over the top. That's a penalty and very possibly a red card because he doesn't go for the ball, kicks the guy on the back of the leg. Yeah. The last two games have been filled with bad calls by referees. The Phoenix game wasn't a penalty, wasn't a foul, and the first goal is an offside on Sacco. He whiffs the whole ball, but he's in an offside position. The El Paso game, it's a blatant red card. So again, I'm not saying that the referees need to be perfect. I know that they make mistakes, but our team has a difficult time dealing with things that go against them in the game.
Yeah.
Whether it's referees, whether it's momentum of a game. We concede 2 goals in 7 minutes today, right? So the game goes from 1-0 to 2-1 like this, right? And so it's a very simple reason. And it's because our team is not quite strong enough to withstand 90 minutes of subjective soccer. This league is filled with parity. And at the end of the day, you got to not only be good when you're good, you got to be good when you're bad. And by good when you're bad means not conceding goals, winning games, right? And right now we're not there, unfortunately. But look, from my perspective, when I got here, this team wasn't a soccer team. Mm-hmm. And this team now is a soccer team that needs to still grow. It's in a phase of improvement. And anyone that expects a team that where it was 4 months ago to be consistently not only turning these performances, but also turning them into wins has an unreasonable expectation. Is wrong in thinking that's possible. Right. And so I can't tell you how proud of the guys I was today. I mean, even towards the end when it's 2-1 and we're fighting for our lives at that point, I mean, we're putting everything into it. We're getting some quality service. We're getting some runs into the box. I mean, a couple of our shots went right at the goalie. There's a goal that I can't even comprehend. There's never a penalty on a corner kick or a free kick when our guys go down, but when 2 guys go down and it's a foul on the attack. Like, I mean, it's bizarre, right? And so I give them a lot of credit for what they've done today, but also I think I hope it doesn't get lost in the mix. The way that this team and the players on this team have started to look like a completely different squad from the moment that from the time that I came in here. And I think that's incredibly important for the players to realize. And I hope for you guys that send that message out to fans and people that follow the team to understand that should be something very positive about how these guys have understood what we've tried to do here as a coaching staff.
I mean, you bring up an interesting point with not finishing games, because we were talking earlier, 2022 was the same thing, losing from winning positions. 2023, it happened. I think Roots were top of the league. I'm not sure about last year. But why, is it just crazy circumstances?
No.
Just why? Yeah, explain.
So I'm going to explain it with describing the team that I've rooted for since I was a little kid. I was born in Brazil, and Botafogo was the team that I've always rooted for. We won a championship in 95, but that was almost like a one-off. So in 95, that's almost 30 years ago, we won a championship. And ever since then, we've been the team that things could only happen to them. Like, it's always like, how could what just occurred could only happen to Botafogo. Have you guys heard that before for the Roots? I feel like the same thing we could apply to the Roots.
Fans, so.
Sure. Raiders as well. Raiders as well. There's one very simple reason why. Because the teams aren't good enough. That's why. So Botafogo haven't won anything for 28 years. John Texter became the investor or the owner of Botafogo and put a bunch of money into Botafogo. In 2023, they bought a bunch of players, high quality players. They transformed into what they were into now, not a powerhouse, but a team that was much more competent and competitive. They were 16 points in the lead in a season like there's no playoffs, obviously, with about 20 games to go. They lost. One of the team that eventually won, they played them head to head with 10 games left. They were up 3-0 at home at halftime. They lost 4-3. Can only happen to Botafogo. Anyways, they ended up losing. Continuation of the story. Kept putting some more money into the team and bringing quality players. The roster got stronger for 2024. They won the league. They won Libertadores. You got to have the roster build in USL, much like MLS, is incredibly important. when you do that part the way that a Louisville does, a Charleston does, some people do it with money, right? I think, again, I don't have facts, so you guys can back me up on that, but I think Charleston does it with money. Louisville does it different ways, right? Sure, money, but I think people want to go play there because of the way that they've built that culture. They also have the ability to bring some players, I think, from their academy, if I'm not mistaken. But again, there's different ways to do it. But at the end of the day, you got to have not only a starting 11, I mean, you got to have depth.
Yeah.
The El Paso game, we had to sit 4 or 5 guys that started the Phoenix game because guys can't play 3 days apart. And we gave up 2 goals in 5 minutes. That's a depth issue, right? You need to create more. And then we will be sitting here, and then I'd be astounded if we're having the same conversations. So I think at the end of the day, that's a very big piece. I'll quote somebody else. Garth Lagerwey said this when as the GM or the sporting director or CSO or whatever it's called in MLS of Atlanta. He said 80% of the results are based on the roster. 20% of the results are based on the coaching staff. I wholeheartedly agree. I think that you could have Pep Guardiola, and if you have out of 80%, you have a 30% roster, he's going to struggle to make them win. You have an 80% roster, 80 out of 80, and you have the worst coach in the world, they're still going to be pretty damn good. So I think at the end of the day, that is, a huge focus, and it should be for our group moving forward. I know that it's frustrating. It's not the end of the world. I think we're there. We're close, right? And it's a league that you can make a massive jump from one year to the next.
Oh yeah. And we see it year after year.
Yeah, it happens time and time again. Even within the year this year, right? Hartford did it this year, but
Yeah, I mean, if you take Hartford, for example, they had the first couple months, they were not very good. The new coach came in.
no, there was no new coach this year. Burke was there.
Okay, sorry. So, but starting the season.
Yeah.
Started the season.
Yep.
With them. So it took them a while to kind of build it.
Mhm.
Are you now if you're at this point where you feel like you're seeing the results and that they're coming, but do you almost wish you had more time?
Of course. Look, I think there's 2. I will say this to anyone. You, an owner, a player, another coach, anyone. I'll say there's 2 things that a coach wants: quality and time with the players. That's it. And obviously, I didn't have a preseason with the team. So, of course, more time is going to give us better results, right? But a season is only as long as a season. And so, at this point, again, with the parity in the league, you never know, when you're in or out of the playoffs. But for all intents and purposes, it feels like the season is gone, right? I mean, we're going to need multiple results and winning every game. So, yeah, there's a finite moment there, but no doubt, I mean, time with a team and players to get them to understand the way that you want to play, to get them to build chemistry with the players around them. I think that, the group is a more talented group than the results indicate. But I also think they're a very fragile mental group because the results haven't gone their way, right? And so I got here, they had 1-7-3, I think it was, and they've been experiencing losses. That's just the reality, right? Or sorry, 3-1-7. Did I say that right? What was our record? 3 wins. What was it? 3-1-7. Yeah. So we were experiencing losses at that point, and when I first got here, I think you get that little new coach bump and guys have new energy and things went well. But then, I really think that there was a couple games in there, whether it was the Lexington game that we fought hard and weren't able to get 3 points. A couple of those other results that we ended up drawing instead of winning. Those things weigh on players for sure. And it's almost like if you can't get over that hump, it just becomes a deeper and deeper hole to be able to climb out of from a mental perspective. And so, yeah, if you get this team in the beginning where they're a little less fragile mentally and you get some of those good results, yeah, sure, you sprinkle in some negative results. Who knows, right? Maybe we're we're getting to what our performances are more often than not. Because I think right now, our performances, I looked at the stats for today. It was crazy. I know stats aren't everything, but
Yeah, it was you had 60. Well, I know the first time you had 60.
Almost 70.
yeah, possession is whatever. 70-30 possession, but big chances, 4-2, 15-8 in shots, 6-2 on corner kicks, 481 passes to 223. I mean, we controlled the game in every aspect, but we lost. So, look, do I think that the performances are reflective of the results? No, but I think that that's something I don't think anybody else in here can categorically answer why, but I do think that there's a mental block on our group, unfortunately, that they've had a hard time to be able to overcome.
And is that the strength you're talking about, like the strength of like mentality to like get that result? Is that
No, I think the strength that I'm talking about is pure like quality of a team, right? Better players, better team, everything. When you take something away, right? When you have a team that maybe isn't necessarily as potent as some of the other teams, you have the possibility now of allowing these things to happen, right? The mental part becomes a more critical aspect. If you're the best team in the league, you could be not great mentally, but you're just so much better than everybody. You're going to win the game anyway, right? So when you start taking away, I think some talent or quality or physical attribute or whatever, everything, right? Like everything that encompasses what a good player is, you allow for other things to start making a bigger deal. Referee decisions become a bigger deal, right? It's not like referees don't make bad calls for Louisville, but then they win the game 3-2 instead of lose it 2-1, right? They'll just score another 2 goals because they're that much better than the other team. And so, yeah, you see it impact the teams that don't necessarily have the top quality in the league more so than the others.
Couple more.
I mean, Benny, we talked at the beginning when you came in, you said playoffs bare minimum, but the important caveat was you want fans to know your system and identity, which I think for the most part they have.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot of encouraging, like we said, there are glimpses. Is that a testament to how the work you could do with more time with this roster and really picking the right pieces to the puzzle?
I don't know. You tell me. I'd love to hear your answer to that question. You've watched every game. All you guys have.
Well, Benny, I enjoy working with you, man.
I enjoy working with you guys too, but I'm curious. I mean, seriously, and you guys can tell me the truth, but I'm curious based on, because it is a very interesting question, performance versus result. And are we truly in a place where we're progressing towards where we want to be? Right. I think it's hard. I mean, it's a hard decision for ownership, right? Are they looking for, why is it that we're not winning? Is it the coach? Is it the players? Is it a mixture? Usually it's some sort of mixture, right? Of course, I believe that. I 100% believe that. I mean, I think we're so close to actually being where I think this team can be. And there's no doubt it's not even sometimes about the individual quality of players. These are players that I inherited from a different system.
Exactly.
So I'm asking guys to play certain ways that is not necessarily their, best way of playing, but we're trying to find ways to utilize the players that we have, right? I mean,
I can think of both outside back spots as a testament to that.
I mean, and look, guys I really have to, applaud some of the guys that have been put in, I wouldn't even know if it's uncomfortable positions, but it's definitely positions that they've never played before.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I'm proud of the work that I've done. I'm proud of the work that the staff has done. I'm really proud of the work that the players have put in. I told them this has not been an easy season for them. They've had 2 coaches. They've had 2 distinct ways of playing. There's been guys that have been asked to play in different positions. There's been guys that have played with Gavin and then not played so much with me and vice versa. It's a whirlwind, man. I mean, it's not an easy profession. It is a hard profession to be a professional athlete, right? And so I applaud everything that they've given me, and do I believe that the work has been positive? Very much so. And it's hard to, be categorical with that when it's a competitive league of results and we're not going to make the playoffs probably. Right. And so it's disappointing, but I truly believe that we're going in the right direction. And again, I think it'd be interesting to know like your guys' perspective. You don't have to answer me, but I'll read your write-ups later.
You have one more? You guys good?
Yes, but I'm just digesting.
It's a lot, huh?
A little bit.
Yeah.
ramble on a bit here, but I'll make it quick. I would say from the standpoint, the second half of this season compared to the first half, there's a vision I see, and I see the individual player moments or when it clicks, I truly see the click. I see the vision outside of maybe goalkeeper choices, but we can discuss that later. Overall, the clicks I see, and I see the vision, like even when Panos went into left back in the first game, I didn't see it. I see
Don't blame yourself. It's hard.
But
It's hard to see it.
Well, it's more. I'm more from the standpoint of you see the mistakes are so glaring because he's not used to playing left back. But I can see what you're going with for that. I can see the potential if he's given the time, which of course, if he's given the time, he could be extremely an asset on that left side. I'm more intrigued what is the type of player that you think that maybe you're missing?
I think there's quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, I think that other than Danny Trejo, we don't have hardly any one-on-one players that can just take people on, right? I think those are important. Like the hardest part of the field to really create is in the final third, and almost all our goals have been created in a similar way where it's obviously a staple of how I like to play, which is creating numbers advantages. And we scored one today like that, where you get the ball out wide and you serve crosses into the goal box. And I mean, Peter's been, just eating those up recently. So, but you need some moments where guys can just create something on their own. Right. And so I think that was one of the reasons why we went after Danny Trejo, because he can create those moments, but I just don't think we've seen that enough from guys, the ability to just take people on and be dynamic and create an advantage on their own. I think we need, some players through the spine of the team that are like just more gritty, defend like, whether it's a center back, whether it's a six that can like cover ground and eat challenges in there and allow the front 5 or 6 to be a little bit more offensive minded. There's certain areas defensively for sure that we need to improve on, right? I mean, I think one of the biggest reasons why we were solid defensively when I first got here is because there was a real emphasis in possession and just keeping the ball, right? To just limit the amount of chances that the other team had to score. We evolved after probably the break, right? Where we had the break after the Loudoun game, where we evolved. Let's try and be a little bit more progressive with our possession, right? And unfortunately, that I think bit us a little bit in the sense that, yeah, we could have kept, a more defensive minded team. And if we're looking for only results, that might have been the right way to go about it. Right. But I do think that we're trying to evolve. We're trying to we're ambitious, or at least I am ambitious in wanting to get to a level where we're actually a better team than the other team. We're not just kind of playing off the chances and probability, right? And trying to stunt their ability to score by also stunting ours. And so when you do that, you expose yourself more. And I do think that there are moments that we've gotten exposed defensively. I mean, like the goals that we've given up in terms of the numbers of goals that we've given up in the last couple months is astounding, right? And you can't win games when you give up 3 goals a game. So, I think we need some pieces in that area of the field that can hold the fort down, can be, I don't know if assholes is the right word, but a little bit, right? Pricks, guys that are
Jose
just
said, bastards.
Yeah, a little bit. Guys that like bring the level up a notch, right? From a defensive perspective, tackling and grittiness. And look, that's not to say that we don't have a couple of guys. I mean, I think Hack's been phenomenal since I've been here.
Yeah.
I really do. I think he's been phenomenal, but you need more than just one guy here or another guy here, right? I think Tyler Gibson's been really good in the last few games, but it's not, it can't just be 1 or 2, and it needs to be, just at a higher level as well, right? And so I think that there's guys that have done a good job. I think Gaggi's done a pretty good job too, right? I've enjoyed working with him. I think he's improved. There's certain aspects of his defensive qualities that I think need more work. in terms of positioning, in terms of stepping sometimes instead of dropping. I mean, if you talk about like the Phoenix goal, the first one, right? He steps a little bit and then the ball gets played in behind, and that's when the guy gets the toe poke and Rafa makes a save. And so like those little moments, and that happened against Colorado Springs as well. But I think, Gagi has a presence about him. We need more guys like that. We need more guys with also a little bit more of an edge, almost kind of like a little bit of Gagi, a little bit of Hack, a little bit of Gibson, all kind of put into one and whatnot. So, yeah, a little Frankenstein, right? But yeah, I think we're missing a couple pieces in that area of the field. I think we need, we don't, for as good as Maury has been going forward, I think he's struggled at times defensively as a right back, right? He was doing better as a right wing back. And then you have Panos, who's also a very attack-minded guy. So he's going to make mistakes from a defensive perspective. And I think that you need guys on those outside positions when you play against players that are good on one-on-one in the wings. You need guys that are just really good on one-on-one defensive areas. So I do think that the defense needs to be worked on a little bit for sure, in terms of, especially with the way I like to play, right? If I want to be an offensive, progressive way that we want to play and create chances off of possession and unbalancing teams, you got to have the other side of it, which is be balanced and have that equilibrium in moments that there's a transitional moment or there's that one-on-one moment. Can you deal with like two center backs dealing with two forwards and have the physicality and also the intelligence to be able to deal with those moments? And we struggle, I think, in those moments more than anything.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, that was a good one.
Great.
Just start with your overall thoughts on the performance and then also the start at right back tonight.
I think that it was a game where we fought really well. And it's nice to see the group really put everything out there. You can't really pin it on one thing as to why we lost. I just think it, wasn't our night. And I think we've fallen on that side more often than not this year, clearly. And it's a hard thing to understand and deal with. But proud of the effort from the guys, top to bottom. It's not our night. Nice to get some minutes at right back. I think that, I can help the team there, and I just want to help the team any way I can. Y'all know me. I just want to help us, and hopefully we can have something to be proud of going forward. And you never know what can happen, right? We've seen crazier things happen in the world of sports, so we haven't given up. We haven't lost our spirit, and we're just going to keep working.
Sure. John, start off.
Yeah, Cam, tonight makes it 17 points drop from winning positions. Just what can you credit that to? Why do you think that's happened?
That's a great question. A hard one to answer, especially in this position. I don't think it's really one thing. I think it's just a couple of different things. I would say mostly mental lapses, right? We conceded on a set piece today. And then, I think we can improve, especially being a more 90-minute team. I think we had a great first half, and then the start of the second half, we had one chance maybe, and then we started conceding pressure. And if that happens, then you're going to concede goals. And I think that leads to kind of the confidence in us right now. It's tough. We can feel the pressure, and we need to be more resilient.
Do you think, because it was like a tale of two halves, so what do you think was like difference in that first half when you came in, like you dominated possession and the goal attacking attempts?
Yeah.
What do you think was that difference in the first half and then what happened in the second half?
I think mostly the mentality, right? I think we were on the front foot the whole time in the first half, and I think when we went out for the second half, we kind of took our foot off the gas. And I think that naturally happens in a sporting event when you go up. Right. The other team also is on the field, right? They're going to up their game and they're going to press more numbers forward. And I think that if we can match the energy going into the second half, it sets us up for more success.
John,
I mean, you talked about playing right back. I thought you looked great there today.
Thank
Some really great passes in from the wing.
Mhm.
Just talk about your skill set fitting into there, how you're learning it and getting accustomed to it.
Yeah. Great question again. I think that, I'm long and lanky and can cover distance. And I think that, having the stability of the defensive mindset first helps the group. And then I pride myself on my ability to make good passes and find myself in good positions. On the left side, we have Panos, who's, more of an attacking minded player. And so, we can kind of shift into Hack, Gagi, and I, and kind of more of a back three in moments. But it's been great. I just have the confidence within the staff and within the team to go out there and play like I could play. And I'm confident in that ability. And, I like playing right back, cover and distance, getting up and down, just getting used to the position.
Had some great passes today.
Thank you. Thank you. I've played it quite a bit in my career, probably 20 to 25 games.
Okay.
This a little bit different. I think I get to attack more, whereas when I was playing it before, it was more, submissive, for lack of a better word. I was more defensive minded.
So what would you say for yourself has been, and it could be the team as well, but the biggest difference between the beginning half of the season to the second half of the season? Because definitely in the later halves, you guys have had the high points and the flashes of what could be, have seemed to be a lot higher, and just the potential. What do you feel has been a credit to the highs, or at least the positives, for the second half of the season?
Great question. I think some of the biggest things that we talk about are playing with bravery and playing with that confidence. We know that we have a good team, right? And understanding that and being brave to play in the moments that we can is super important.
Now I think that, understanding that and playing in the right moments is also something that's important, right? But you're right. We've really shown moments of brilliance, honestly, right? We go out there and we go a goal up. Now it's just, can we take that next step? Can we continue to keep our foot on the gas? And even in moments where, maybe we do concede, can we come back the next time? We showed that in Charleston. We were on the opposite end of it in Phoenix, but, can we be more resilient?
You guys got one more? If it-
If you have
I do have one, but you go
Okay,
ahead.
go
Just it's a couple more games left. You still have a chance at the playoffs. Like,
Yeah.
what's your mentality going through these last couple of games this season?
Yeah. I believe it fully. I will always be a player who's going to go out there and give everything. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go out shooting. Right? If I get an opportunity to go make a tackle, I'm going to make a tackle. If I miss, that's life. And I think that, we can continue to build on that. We can believe that if we get 9 points from the next 3 games, we've got a real shot, especially at the end of the year, teams are dropping games, everyone's tired. I certainly believe. And, that's my message to the group of guys. And, it's something that I pride myself on in helping the group is build that confidence and that belief.
Last one.
And yeah, when Benny came into the job, he talked about wanting people to know his system, his identity. Just from a player's perspective, what's your feedback on his coaching, his leadership, and how the team is picking up what he's looking to teach you guys?
No, he's been great. And I think the staff as a whole has given us a lot of great pictures on, what we want to try to achieve. And, we see it in flashes, right? We play this high pace attacking football on the front foot. Now I think it's more up to us to continue to do that on a more consistent basis. But the staff has full confidence in us, and, it's our job to go out there and keep going.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Cool.
I think it's-